I am excited about that. I want him to put a smile on his face because if he doesn't, I'm going to disconnect him and wait until he does. How's that? Welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network. Yours truly, Pastor Kevin. And of course, we have one of our featured authors here joining us here on today. We are always excited when that happens. Mr. Joseph Lewis. That's my studio audience, if you don't know. Joe, how
Okay.
you doing today, man? It is good to see your face. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Awesome. Well, we are honored that you accepted the invitation to be here with us today. And of course, accepted the invitation to be a part of our broadcast network family. But before we talk about that, why don't you do me a favor? Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from, if you don't mind.
My name is Joseph Lewis. I'm in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'm a Midwestern boy at heart. I grew up in Wisconsin. Um, I have been in education now, starting my 46th year, 44 years full time as a teacher, coach, counselor, and administrator. And now I'm working part time facilitating online learning for high school kids.
Well, that sounds pretty exciting. High school kids. I remember my days in high school, but we won't talk about that. We won't go there. I tell you, it is awesome to see that you are a current featured author here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. What actually got you started in writing your current book publication?
Um, It actually started in sixth grade. I had a teacher, Sister Joseph Marie. She had what are called story starters, note cards with three, four, five paragraphs. And the idea was that if we had time, we were to finish the story that was started on the card. It wasn't for any kind of credit at all, it was just for fun. And that really was the thing that got me interested in writing. Um, the book that you have featured on your website, Stolen Lives, is the first book of what is called the Lives Trilogy. And that stems from my work as an adjunct educator with the Wetterling Foundation for Stranger Abducted and Sexually Exploited Kids. Um, I researched the topic, I worked with the foundation, got as much knowledge as I could about this particular topic, and then I went in front of parent groups, parishes, school assemblies, things like that, helping kids understand, helping people and parents understand how to keep kids safe, how to keep themselves safe, and then what we can do, hopefully, to bring kids back who had been taken or who had been silenced by abuse.
Oh.
Um, then I met my wife, and we had our children. Will was adopted at age 7, and my daughter Hannah was born to us at that time. And instead of me picturing, as I'm speaking to parents and kids, instead of picturing Johnny Gosh or Eden Patz or Elizabeth Smart, I started picturing my son Will, and I started picturing my daughter Hannah. And so I had to step back a little bit, but I always had this desire and interest to tell their story of missing kids and sexual exploitation. And that's where the idea came for Stolen Lives, Shattered Lives, and Splintered Lives,
Wow.
the three books of the trilogy. And then a publishing company that I was with at that time wanted me to write a prequel to the series that would introduce readers to the series themselves. And that's how Taking Lives came into being.
So, well, I did hear you mention the word trilogy. And of course,
Yes.
if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, now you know that there are more books attached to what we call stolen lives. And
Yes.
I got to ask you this question, even though that you have already started the process and released those publications, what's next for Joseph Lewis? What's next after the trilogy takes place?
Well, I've actually written 8 books total.
Wow.
Taking Lives was the first, followed by the 3 books of the trilogy. I followed that up with Caught in a Web, which is about gangs, drugs, and revenge. Followed that up with Spiral into Darkness, which is um, a killer with a list and a seeming reason as to why he's killing people. And then I followed that up with Betrayed, which is exactly like the title talks about, multiple levels and layers of betrayal. And then my most recent book that is now available for pre-order and will be public January 6th is called Blaze In, Blaze Out, which is a hunter's term. And that is more cops than kids. I have a tendency to write with my main characters being kids because I've been around them for 46 years. I seem to know kids, the way they talk, the way they act, the way they think. Many of the stories that are in the Lives trilogy came to me not only with my research working with the foundation, but also things that the kids and the parents shared with me as a counselor. So while they're works of fiction, they are fact based and research based. So, my characters tend to be kids with a couple of cops thrown in. Everything is written in the genre of thriller, mystery, crime, and that's kind of where I have my niche, so to speak.
Wow. Man, I didn't know you had 8 books. Oh my goodness, that's amazing to me. And I think we are just at the tip of the iceberg when I say we're going to try our very best to incorporate some of the other publications and that you have available. Now, I know that there are going to be many people out there who can, I guess you can say, relate.
Hmm.
They can relate to this, or they have children. Many of us know children,
Yes.
and they want to pass this information on. What would be the process if someone that's out there listening right now and or grab a hold of the rebroadcast? What would be the process for them if they wanted to show their love, care, concern, and support, and receive a copy of this and or all 8 of the current publications? Is it on Amazon website? Why don't you share that with
Yes.
us?
Everything is available on Amazon. Everything is available at Barnes and Noble in both Kindle and in paperback, with the exception of Blaze In, Blaze Out, which is through my publisher, Black Rose Writing. A little bit about missing and sexual exploitation, trafficking, so to speak. When I first started this back in the early eight, I guess it was '89 when Jacob Wetterling was taken. Um, it used to be that one in every 9 boys, one in every 5 girls had some sort of sexual abuse in their lives. Unfortunately, that statistic has changed. It's now one in every 4. So if you have 20 kids in a classroom, you can bet that there are going to be 5 kids that had some sort of abuse taking place. And typically, back when we called it stranger danger, way back, and that is such a misnomer because statistically, kids are molested and abused by people known to them and known to the family.
Right, right.
So what are the things that parents can look at or kids can safeguard themselves with? That is all actually weeded or woven into my particular stories in the Lives trilogy. Um, and it is entertaining. My books typically out of 5 stars have 4+ ratings on them, so people tend to like them. They're dark subjects, no doubt, but I think not only will people be entertained, but they're also going to come away with a knowledge that I think in this day and age, parents and kids need to have.
Wow, man, and first of all, I'm excited about that because this is definitely information uh, through writing, through your publication, that is going to be helpful in a lot of ways to parents or even kids that want to learn more about the process as far as what to do to avoid something like that. And I'm sure you get into detail in your publications on what it
Mhm.
is and some of the resources that you use. Before I continue, I want to say thank God for our partnered radio station up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who's tuning in on today. They love this process. They love the book publications. They love the authors. So I want to say hello to them and thank you guys so much for just chiming in for a few minutes to see what it's all about and how Joseph Lewis is presenting this particular publication as well as publications that he has also written. Now, I also am aware that there may be some people who want to talk to you on an individual level. Is there a contact information that you don't mind sharing with us? Whether it be a website, social
Mhm.
site, phone number, email. What's the process if someone wanted to reach out and contact you?
I have an author website that is really for writers, for those who enjoy reading. It is www.jrlewisblog. I'm sorry, I have to look that one up. It's fairly new.
Uh huh.
Um, it is www.jrlewisauthor.blog. And then I also have a Facebook page that is www.facebook.com/joseph.lewis.author. And you'd be able to find everything you'd really need in terms of um, things that I publish, things that I release. My author website in particular has access links to each of my books, the process of writing, tips for writing. Those that kind of enjoy reading, going into the background of what an author thinks about, what an author does in terms of putting the fingers to the keyboard, so to speak.
Wow. Well, I'm anticipating 11, 1,200 people sitting there watching you right now, and they're saying to themselves, I need some words of encouragement. I need to hear something said from Mr. Joe Lewis that may inspire and or encourage me to reach out to the resources that may be available to share with my family, to share with some friends, to share with children. What is it that you could say to them here today? I want you to look right in the camera and share your words of encouragement to that individual or those individuals right here, right now.
First of all, you're never alone. There are people willing to help, people willing to work with you. The signs of is a predator are readily available. It's someone taking an interest in your son or daughter, um, gifts, tributes, spending time, things like that, that would cause any parent to question. It's the type of person out there who does not have strong relationships among adults, who would gravitate to activities, to um, groups out there that cater to kids, such as coaches. We had a big scandal with Boy Scouts. Things like that, that one as a parent would look at. And as a counselor, I used to say that if you have a hunch, you bet a bunch because your gut doesn't lie. And so I would say, as a parent, you trust your gut. Always encourage your son, your daughter to have an open communication with you, to be willing to speak with you. Nothing should be hidden. If an adult is contacting your kid through text messages, through Instagram, through TikTok, all those kinds of things, that's really important for parents to be aware because there really is no real reason, no valid reason for an adult to be contacting a kiddo, especially if you're looking at preteen, if you're looking at young adult. Predators are generally age and sex specific. In other words, um, Ted Bundy, a serial killer, was interested in females, young adult, collegiate kind of student. You have the kids who went after Johnny Gosh, who was a pre-adolescent boy. Um, and they will tend to stay within their sexual preference and their age preference unless that particular um, target is not available. That's about the only time they really deviate. So there are things that parents can do to protect their kids and to protect themselves. Mainly, the most important is to foster a relationship with your son or daughter that it is okay to talk to them, um, that they can be trusted, that there's an honesty between youngster and the parent, um, and a kind of a no secrets household kind of thing.
Wow. Well, I am honored to hear you share some of that valid information. Now, are there resources that you may have readily available for someone who may, in fact, want to reach out and speak to you? I mean, is there resources that you can guide them to or talk to them about as far as sharing this information?
I would say your community, every community has a mental health um, group that is there specifically to help parents to be able to help kids. And so I would bypass me because I would just slow you down. I would say that the adult, the parent, would should seek out their community, their mental health organization. For instance, in Virginia, where I live, we have the Rappahannock Regional Mental Health Association. That is one organization that has all of the resources and all of the tools,
Right.
including social workers, psychologists, things like that, that would be able to help you. I would say speak to a school counselor. They would have the resources at their fingertips. A trusted teacher would be able to guide you. So those are the things that instead of really reaching out to me for the tips, it would be best to bypass me and go directly to the source because these are the people that are best able to help you in your particular situation in your community.
Wow. Well, I see and I have witnessed hearing it first right here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. And again, I want to say thank you so much for sharing what you've shared with us this afternoon. And I want you to know that the GMAP family always takes the opportunity to let you know that the door is always open. You can always reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to assist you in your journey. Don't you hesitate. Pick up that phone, give us a call, text, chat, tweet, whatever. The answer will always be yes, and you will never have to ask us twice. We really appreciate your time this afternoon, and of course, we are sure, we are positive that we're going to hear more from Joseph Lewis here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Again, you can stop by gmap1.com. That's GMAP, the number 1.com. Click on the tab that simply is titled Featured Authors Bookstore. You will see a copy of the cover that I'm currently showing you on our split television screen. Click on that cover. It will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information about the author as well as the publications that he is now currently providing. We thank God for him. We thank God for you. And thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And I also want to say thanks to our friends up at WGLB. They are constantly texting me, chatting me, and I think that was them just calling me a few seconds ago. They love what you're doing, and we want to continue to be supportive along your journey. So thank you so much, Joe. We
Thank
look
you.
forward to hearing from you again very, very soon. Until next time, peace and God bless you. And before I let you go, I want you to have your closing remarks and your final words here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Joe Lewis, I'm going to move over. The floor is yours.
For me, I guess one message that I would like to say above and beyond what we were talking about is that it is never ever too late to pursue a goal, to pursue a dream. And my first book was published when I was 60 years old. That was Taking Lives. 1 year later, at 61, came Stolen Lives, which is the book that's featured on your website. And I am going to be celebrating my 68th birthday this fall. And I still have some stories in me. But the main idea that you're never too late, you're never too old to pursue a dream, to pursue a goal, I think that gives anybody some hope. I'm hoping that that message is loud and clear with me being able to write, me being able to publish, and hopefully you, as the reader, will enjoy some of the stories that I happen to be writing about.